Sixers fans, welcome back. I got some things to talk about. This probably won't be a long video, but just in case it is, buckle up, strap in, let's have some fun. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that kit and caboodle. We're almost at 1K, which means MERCH, baby. Come on, let's get there. What better time than the present? Sixers off season. Let's get into it. First thing I saw was, you know what? Let me start off the way I did not think I was going to start off, with Bradley Beal. So yesterday I am on Bleacher Report. I see that Bradley Beal was pissed off at the Washington Wizards because he wasn't happy with their hiring of the head coach of whoever the Wizards hired. I don't even remember right now. He wanted a young man named Sam Cassell, and if you know who Sam Cassell is, the dude's the assistant coach for the Sixers. To me, that is just that's music to my ears. Maybe that means Bradley Beal wants to come to Philadelphia, play with a much better team, and also play with the dude under the dude that he obviously wanted as his head coach. I think Sam Cassell is a big time name. I think he's going to get a legit offer by the end of the season, probably. I'm surprised he didn't move on this past offseason, honestly. I'm a huge Sam Cassell fan. I think he does a lot for guards. I think he has a great basketball mind, and I really want Bradley Beal to come to Philadelphia. So a package around that I made in my last video, something like Ben Simmons, probably Tyrese Maxey, and a first or two. I don't know if that's too much. I think that would probably be an overshot for a guy like Bradley Beal. I think you could probably do it for Ben Simmons, Maxey, and a first. The proposed trade I saw was Ben Simmons, Isaiah Joe, one unprotected first, and a second-round pick. To me, that's not enough. That's definitely not enough. I would do that in a heartbeat, obviously, but I just don't think that's going to be enough to poach a guy like Bradley Beal's caliber from Washington Wizards team that has wrongly believed they could contend for the last 10 years. Because talk about terribly ran franchises. The Wizards have got to be top 5 in the league with the worst ran franchises. So that being said, I think if Beal asks to get traded, I think Philadelphia would probably be number one on his chopping block, just because the team quality and the caliber of Philadelphia is much higher than Washington, obviously, but also because of Sam Cassell. He wants to play under a guy that he's wanted to play under for a while now, it seems. So I enjoyed looking at that. I think there's definitely some feeling there with Bradley Beal not wanting to be in Washington. If he's going to outwardly say, I'm pissed that you hired this dude as the head coach. I mean, just how are you going to expect a guy who doesn't want to play under a coach and come out and say, I wish we hired this other dude, and then he's going to come out and play under the guy that he didn't want to get hired? I don't know. I just find that as awkward. I find that as a weird thing. I know he only has 1 year left on his deal. That could honestly mean, I didn't even think of that. That could be Simmons, Tyrese Maxey in the first. And if that's too much, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure, to be honest. But I think as a Sixers fan, you gotta want to make that move, despite the guy being on his last year of his deal. You have to be willing to push the chains for that. So that's that. All right. So I saw Eric Bledsoe. There's probable interest in the Sixers going out and getting Eric Bledsoe, but let's be real for a second, guys. We're not going to trade for Eric Bledsoe. It's going to be a buyout. He just got traded to Memphis, and he said he's not going to play for Memphis. He's going to get bought out. And so if we can sign Eric Bledsoe, who isn't the best player in the NBA, but if we can sign a dude like Eric Bledsoe, who's had some pretty decent seasons, he's a good player. He's a good player. But if we can go out and get Eric Bledsoe on a buyout type deal, so $3 million for just one season, that would be absolutely the definition of maximizing talent at maximizing value. Eric Bledsoe is probably a guy who can make 3 years $40 million, 3 years $30 million at this point of his career. If we can get a guy like him for a 1 year deal on the league minimum, that would be huge, dude. We don't even have to play the guy. And just to have that, as our second string point guard, as our third string point guard at that type of dollar sign, making less than Mike Scott would, yeah, dude, sign me up for that. I would totally do Eric Bledsoe on a league minimum contract for a year or two, without a doubt, no hesitation. Sign me up, sign, sealed, delivered. Ask Stevie Wonder. I'm all about it. I see that the Raptors are very, very mega interested in Ben Simmons. I saw a apparent proposed deal yesterday that the Sixers would receive Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and the 4th pick for Ben Simmons. And I just think it was Ben Simmons. Now, I don't know what kind of crack the Philadelphia 76ers organization found, but I'm not trying to get monetized, but sign me up for some of that, because that's unreal. That's an unreal haul for a guy like Ben Simmons. Dude, I don't see there's no way that's real, right? Like, there's no way that's an actual thing, because that's like, hey, Raptors, give up like 3 of your 4 best players and your 4th pick in the draft. I don't see that at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of insane to me, actually, that leaked, because I think the Sixers have done a good job up to this point trying to place Ben Simmons' value into the NBA and telling the rest of the league, what they expect to receive. But this just seems like way too much. I mean, dude, if the Sixers could pull that trade off, obviously they're not going to, but if they could have pulled that trade off, that's just, we all of a sudden become the deepest team in the NBA with not a single hole in the roster. That's on another level. That's just asinine, absolutely asinine. And if the Raptors took that, I can't even imagine. Apparently, Kyle Lowry wants a 3-year, $90 million contract in free agency, and like, a part of me is like, absolutely not. This man's 35, I think. He's not deserving of a 3-year, $90 million contract, but like, it's also not many years. I guess it just depends on your outlook on whether or not he's going to retire a good player, because I would assume he's probably going to retire after 3 years. It's interesting. I think Lowry is poaching a lot of interest from other teams like the Knicks, obviously the Sixers, and I don't know how much I love the fact of bringing on a guy of his age to be a starting point guard on a championship level team at $90 million. I probably don't think so. I mean, you're probably signing this guy to be a 6th man at some point, and I just think that's an overpay. I would avoid that. I would avoid this age thing that the Sixers have continuously fucked up on, like Al Horford, and I don't want to make this mistake again, and I think there's better options. Then I come to the draft. This is my last thing. I'm probably going to be live streaming Thursday night, by the way. So I'm on board for that. I'm if you guys want to watch me live stream Thursday, I'm definitely down. I probably will, to be honest with you. But the most recent mock draft, first of all, I don't think the Sixers are keeping their 28th pick. I think they're going to trade that bad boy on selection or even prior to the draft. I could see both. I just don't see them holding on to a 28th pick type of guy. But if they do, I saw the mock draft of them taking Nashawn Highland, who, a.k.a. Bones Highland. 2 things. 1, that's a dope nickname. Clearly drafting this dude because his name's Bones. Like Dry Bones Highland? Yeah, for Mario? I don't know. Maybe that went over your head. Hopefully not. Anyway, I'm taking Bones Highland. Second of all, that dude is an absolute bucket getter. Bucket getter. This man is a shot creator. He's a scorer. He's a shooter. He's a borderline 3-level scorer. He is a very, very good offensive guy. He's a guard. But he can't play defense at all. Like, in the slightest. The man has 0 defensive ability. But, at the same time, who cares? Because we have plenty of defense. We just need somebody who can go out and get a bucket. I am so ready to take Nashawn Highland from VCU at the 28th pick, if we have that pick. I think there are a couple of guys, actually, that are just very good options at the Sixers that might fall to 28. So, I'm interested. I'll be streaming Thursday, the 29th. So, peace out.